Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SRA Grid Report. Coming to you a little bit later than usual, as we've both been battling a little bit of the illness. Bailey's still giving it away for the audience to hear here, but
Battling it out,
fighting our way through the cold, as we've got to
Get my
do.
own Mike Tyson.
All right, as we try and get ourselves prepped up for next week's race in the wet, but this week's race at Monza was everything we could have expected and more, if I do say so myself. But
I agree.
but between that, the 24 hours of Le Mans going on right now, and everybody frantically trying to prepare for next weekend's AC event, the 2.4 hours of Le Mans, there's a lot going on. And I mean, just going through all of that, I realized that the one thing we don't have down on our list that's also going on is the multi-class mayhem that just hit
Ah,
round two last night.
yes,
Which, yeah, there's so much going on.
there is. It's so hard to keep track of. Going just through announcements and then each category's announcements page, and yeah, it's a lot.
Definitely, definitely. But let's take a look over to how Monza went by starting with a look at the track.
Let's do it.
And I mean, we all know the track pretty well, but it still caused everything that you would expect, just on a little bit more of a polite scale than typical open lobby fashion. Definitely some off track adventures and some scary turn 1 2 chicanes, but I mean, that's Monza.
I agree, and I would almost argue that 4-5 chicane is a lot tougher to go too wide than 1-2 is.
Definitely, there's more room, and it makes it seem like it's more viable of an option,
Yeah,
but yet it's just as tight.
yeah.
Through every division. I think everybody got binned by a Ascari at least once or twice. I know I lost two qualifying laps to it, but yeah, there was a lot of people taking the hit from those sausage curbs during the race. Proof that 1.9 has really been a bit of a struggle for all the cars to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was just gonna add on to that was um during our race specifically, driving this Merc, it's a curb eater, and I was able to just eat all the curbs in a Ascari, to whereas in like around me the Porsche, the Ferrari, we didn't have any McLarens. I don't remember what answer it was. Um, but yeah, for those instances, those cars were having to take such longer lines through Ascari. It's like that's kind of where the Merc is kind of this oddball out, and I felt like at Monza that's why it's kind of more even. It has that ability to take the curbs a little more. It's a lot more stable on curbs, whereas these Ferraris were they're quick in the corners, they're quick in the slipstream. I saw that as well. Um,
Mhm.
and then the Porsche, Porsche things.
Rip.
Yeah, big rip.
But yeah, I think through it all, though, turn 11 Parabolica turned out to be one of the most important turns on the racetrack, as that main straight down to turn 1 is probably the safest opportunity to make an overtake besides the straights between 7 and 8 and 10 and 11.
Yeah,
There was a lot of people who loved to set up 2 and 3 wide down turn 3 towards turn 4. That was great for the broadcasting side of things, but I'm sure as I got forced into that situation a couple times in practice races and previous races, it's kind of scary being a driver in that situation because you run at a racetrack
yeah,
very fast.
yeah, and that corner comes at you a lot quicker when
De-
you're on that inside line.
definitely, definitely. So let's take a look at some of these standings. Division 8 qualifying saw Y Boy Blue take pole position in the M4 with a 49.3. Rob Moorhead came home in second with a 49.7, and Kyle Cumber in third with a 49.762, only 200ths behind Rob in second. Y Boy Blue did hold on to the win, but only by, what is that? Oh no, sorry, I was looking at the fastest lap. I wasn't looking at the finishing time. That's
25
only by
seconds.
only by 25 seconds. Not a big enough margin. We got to push those numbers, pump those numbers.
Decent.
Pretty astounding win there. I was looking at the fastest lap times, which was even still quite a big jump at what is that, 9 tenths different, 8 tenths different. 8 tenths
Uh,
faster for White Boy Blue.
yes,
So
8 tenths.
definitely some pace in the bag there. Emil Garcia came home in second place in the Porsche, and another Porsche in third place to round off the podium, Rookie F for Hamster Powered Racing. So a not or an atypical or a less traditional podium there, but Division 8 proving their worth. A little bit of different paces up there. I mean, a big difference even to third place's pace, fastest lap wise. I wonder what happened to the other two in the top three. Their
Yeah,
champ
I'm not sure.
their championship though, just taking a look at the overalls, is still pretty close. I mean, 340, 335, 331 for the top three drivers, and that's Kyle Cumber, Simon Barnes, and Jeremy Yaron in third place. So still all up for grabs there, and even down to, I'm going to do the math for one win here, 230. Technically, anybody down to 11th place, and that's Rob Moorhead, have a shot at jumping themselves up to a pretty good spot here with 3 races left.
Yeah.
Even the team standings, nobody's really running away with it. The top two teams, Dark Helmet Motorsports and Plan E Racing Nerge, 689 and 631 to Ghost Rider Racing Black Markers, or Back Markers. I don't know.
Whoa.
Hey man, I thought maybe they had a black livery. Whatever. Back
Or they just
Markers.
liked black markers.
Possibly. 588 and 582 to Hamster Powered Racing right behind them. So top four still a lot to fight for in Division 8. Division number 7. Matt Anderson to actually, Bailey, you've got the penalties for us. So, there any action going on in Division 8?
I had them up 1 second. Where'd they go? Division 8 penalties. Penalties. Uh, where's Division 8 results? Um, I don't see anybody affected on the podium.
Well, that's always good
All
to
clear.
see. That's
Josh
always good to
Damiani
see.
is typing in penalties.
Am I typing in penalties? Oops. I put.
Hello?
Oops, I was typing in penalties. I did type the period for muting my microphone
Oh
while I
god.
coughed there in the penalty channel. I was like, "What's
Ah,
happening here?" But that's okay. So
yeah.
no effect to the podium in D8. Good job from
Nope.
those guys. Division 7 qualifying saw Matt Anderson take pole position with a 148.662, again in an M4. Tony Swan sees our first Mercedes make it up to the top three with a 149.057, and Christian Maurice in third with the Porsche with a 149.307. And Matt, again, held on to the win, same as Division 8. The BMW had, I guess, pretty good pace out there and held on to the win. This one a little bit smaller of a margin.
Yeah.
This one's,
About
uh
25 seconds?
what? Oh, again,
Yeah.
that's minutes. Jeez, I hate this. I hate this. We need to reformat these sheets. 25-second
Oh.
victory. Hey, man, you know what? You want to do the standings from now on?
No, you're good at it.
Yeah,
I'll just here to correct you.
I'm here to make the mistakes. I got it. I got it. All right,
Yeah.
so Matt takes a astounding victory over Christian Maurice in second place, and Dan Meyer comes home in third in the Lambo for Bitch Peas, one of my favorite team names in the league. No comment.
Sorry, I'm just looking at stuff.
Any penalties?
None that affect the top three.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Let's take a look at these championship standings here. Dan Meyer holding on to the lead right now for Bitch Peas with 377. Christian Maurice in second with 326, and Matt Anderson in third with 290. So he's still kicking at the door. I mean, taking the win this week and 3 more races left to go could very easily bring himself up to the top of that board.
Absolutely. And Dan Meyer consistently hitting podiums or close to wins there is definitely helping the case and reducing the chance of anybody coming back at him, such as Matt Anderson.
For sure. So it'll be a close fight all the way down at the end. But the
Yep.
team standings in Division 7 are starting to look a little bit more locked out. Bitch Peas with 704 points. Second place Wonderland Racing with 462. Tied with third place Ghost Rider Racing Driver's Ed with also 462. So
Come on, lads.
it's going to be an interesting fight for second place, but I think it's going to be tough for Bitch Peas to lose that championship here. So Can't officially lock them out, but all eyes on them, I guess.
Yes. Ball's in your court.
You have got it.
Basketball.
Sure you're not still sick there, buddy?
I am.
Too many Tylenol there.
No, not enough.
Division 6, Marty Space Baker takes pole position with a 48.832. Durban Legacy comes home in second place, a 48.857, and Curtis Lee in third with a 48.980. In the race, Durban did come home to take the win by 31 seconds over Harrison Channing in the M4. So a little bit of an inverse of the other divisions, the M4 coming home in second place by a gap. And Durban's Ferrari did have quite the pace difference at a 48.930 fastest lap compared to Harrison's 49.450. But beyond that, Dakota Taylor came home in the Porsche in third place for Dank Laps Racing, which is also a pretty sick name.
OBDA.
OBDA.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, it was kind of a sweep. I don't know what happened to Curtis or Marty, but Durbin had no competition, it looks like.
Yeah, it seems like he was able to just put his foot down, start lapping, and run away with the race, so to speak.
Absolutely. But um, penalties, none in the top three again.
Awesome, awesome. Good streak so far.
Couple of
Championship
quality
wise,
bands though, but
ooh, that's not good.
not good, not good.
Looking over the championship, Durban is currently in the lead with 394. Curtis Lee in second place for Yeatco Logistics at 378. And Marty Spacebaker at 318 in third place. So, again, still lots up for grabs there. And in their team championship, still pretty close as well. 694 for Mechanical Rhythmists, which is Durban's team, up in first place. Yeatco Logistics in second at 598, and Champion Motorsports Space Race Junkies with 525 in third place. So, still, like I said, lots still to fight for, and even though we're 6 races into this, or 5 races into
Five.
this 8 race championship, it's still a lot to fight for.
Yes, sir. And anything can happen in one race. All it takes is one DNF or a bad accident or
A teammate not to show up, and your race
teammate
doesn't go
not to
well.
show up, stop, go 30, drive through, you name it.
Skill
Anything can
issue,
happen. Skill issues, dude?
like they happen all the time. Can't control them either.
No. Well, maybe.
Sometimes, but then it's not a skill issue,
Then what is it?
just an issue.
Lack of talent?
There you go.
Now we're
A
cooking.
little bit different.
Let him cook!
Let him cook. Division 5, Martin Riggs takes pole position with that ever powerful GT3 Evo 720S. That yeah, that thing's looking pretty powerful.
Very.
47.695. Quite a gap to DJ Watson second, a 48.017, and Christian Lorenzo in third, a 48.437. So actually pretty big splits across the board there in the D5 qualifying. But with that pace, hey, you never updated it.
Yeah, because I don't have access to that, brother.
Oh, you should have said that before we started.
You had already started.
Oh, okay. All right. And in the race, Martin Riggs did hold on to the win, came home 17 seconds ahead of Nick Cameron in second place, and Waleed Sadat did come home in third, another 17 seconds behind them. So it looks like a lot shook up there at the top, and seems
Oh,
to
yeah.
be the standard here with Monza. I mean, if you're up in front of the group, you can really separate yourself and not have to deal with the BS. But if you're anywhere near a pack and you have to try and strategy yourself into free air, it never really works right here.
No,
At least I
not
don't
really.
find so.
I agree with that as well.
Like one driver has, I don't know, a couple bad laps in a row, and that closes a lot of ground. It's
For sure.
it's a smaller track than it seems, just
Well,
because of
and
how
with
fast you're going.
exactly, and I was about to say that with the speed that you're going at this track, say you spin or something like that, you're losing more than you actually think you are.
Definitely.
For example, was Martin in this race was had to have been 16, 17 seconds in the lead. About there was probably 25, 30 minutes left of the race, somewhere around there, and I don't remember who it was. It might have been Nick Cameron in P2. Caught him, was about 1.2 seconds. He closed a 15-second gap. Martin, let alone, did have damage, but still, he lost it in Parabolica. Still made up 14, 15 seconds by one spin.
Wow.
So, I mean, Martin was completely backwards at Parabolica and had still managed to turn it around and uh, get going again by the time Nick caught up. So, he then pulled another 17 seconds, as you said, by the
So
end of the race.
shows the kind of pace you have in hand. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Proves the
yeah,
point of how much time you do lose. And Parabolica is not the fastest corner on the track. It's still like a
no.
very high second gear, low third gear kind of corner, at least from what I've been seeing.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's still very bad for your deltas.
For sure. But one thing to touch on, not super detrimental, but Nick Cameron did get a 10-second penalty. Fortunately, he was ahead more than 10 seconds, so he won't lose that position.
Gotcha. So it's always nice to see when that happens. I was
Absolutely.
thinking about that in the post race of D2. I had a 6 second gap to the cars in front of me, and there was like two or three cars there. But I had just lapped Paul A on the final lap, and I'm like, come on, I'll
Oh,
slow up for you and we'll cross the line together. And then I'm like, hey, wait, no, if somebody ahead of me gets a penalty, I gotta be in range.
yeah, that was my thing too. And we were racing each other for most of the race, but I mean, we could talk about this later. But
Definitely.
uh, you just never know towards the end of a race what could happen the next day or when penalties come out that say there's three people in front of you who gets a 10 seconds, and that's three positions right there. And what could have been 16th is now 13th, or if there's another one that had the 22nd, there's 12th. So you could gain four positions 3 days later, for all you know.
Exactly. Sometimes even longer after that.
Exactly.
No, the stewards were good this week. We got the penalties actually.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Or was it Thursday? What's
Oh,
today?
yesterday. We got it
Yesterday,
Friday.
sorry. I thought today was Friday.
Friday at 3 in the afternoon. That's pretty good.
Hmm.
Applause to you, stewards. It's a lot to go through. Eight
I
divisions.
agree. And D1 having the most penalties, so
Woo
tisk
woo.
tisk tisk tisk.
I'm sure they also submit the most penalties, though.
Probably. I would too.
I guess. Go for it if you
Oh,
can.
I was gonna report you, but I missed the opportunity. The window closed.
For what?
Oh what?
We'll,
Where's
ta-
my gloves?
we'll talk about it when we get there. But
Okay.
yeah, for
I'm
what?
just messing, by the way. I'm
Good.
just messing. I'm not gonna report you unless really piss me off.
Unless it's another like Masano situation. Just like fish hook you.
Yeah, you know.
It's all fun and games. Division number 4. Corey Sircone takes pole position with a 147.795. Scott Smith in second place with a 48.017. And Jitesh Katavkar in third with a 48.077. In the race, Corey held on to the win. I'm looking 18 seconds ahead of Gordon Beverly, if my math's correct.
We are checking. We are
I'm
checking.
gonna let the calculator over here do his work.
I will say, Josh, well done. Great math.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. 18 seconds clear of Gordon Beverly in second place, bringing another Aston Martin up to the podium, and Jitesh Katavkar holding on to third, just 3 seconds behind Gordon. Looking at their championship, if I can have the correct link open here for once. Corey holds on to the lead right now with 406 points. Stephen Smalley, a name we haven't seen on the podium this week, still holding on to second with 361, and Max Diggs in third with 360. Bit of a drop off to Gordon in fourth at 293, but Division 4 lots to play for. The team,
Always seems like that.
yeah, I mean, there's never really that much shuffling, but there's the threat is always there. You can't
Yes.
you can't mess up in these last three races, especially
No.
with the whole only getting one drop race.
Yes.
I'm sure
Well, and
there's
usually by the time we get to this point in the season, it's you kind of know where you're racing and who you're racing.
yep,
So
exactly. So it's kind of tough. I mean, myself, I know I had a very bad race at the beginning. I had that fatal error. I had a forced
Yes.
zero. So even though I'm not competing for any direct championship, just for standings, it's like I can't really screw up any of the races. That's my drop race. It's already a zero. I can't really have a zero on my counted points. So I wonder how many drivers are already in that situation now. It's like maybe they've had a rough first wet race and now they're stuck really having to bank on finishing these races.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Such contribution.
Sorry, dude. You keep trying to do some digging real quick while you're talking, and then
That's
you
okay.
ping to me, and I'm just not there.
That's okay. Trying to take a peek at the penalties here.
Nothing affected the top three here.
Perfect, perfect,
Perfect. That's a
perfect.
golf. That's a golf joke. Golf clap. Ah,
And
my fingers hurt.
in the D4 Team Championship, Baseline Racing to Uranus holds first place with
Excuse me.
712 points. Baseline Racing to Uranus. You heard me correct. And in second place,
Classic.
Lunar Lone Star Motorsports with 639. In third, Start Your Systems Mighty Morphin Rangers 634. So, interesting championship left to behold for those six drivers.
Yep.
Yup.
Agree and agree and agree.
Ari, Ari, Ari.
Oh,
Division 3 sees a shakeup of drivers here. Qualifying, David Funk takes pole position in the Lambo. Matt Anastasi takes second place. 300ths behind him. Both drivers at
wow.
47.5. Matt's 47.547. And Henrique
300s. Yeah.
Lastosa in third, 47.565. So only another 200ths behind him.
That's wild.
Very, very close in Division 3.
Yeah.
In the race, David held on to the win, coming home 11 seconds clear of Henrique in second place, and Matt dropped himself down to third, only 2 seconds behind Henrique. So I'm going to go ahead and presume that battle lasted all race. There was a lot
I
of
would
battles
agree.
in the other divisions that even if there was an overtake, those drivers didn't let off each other's bumpers. They would just kind of like hang out and follow each other through the track.
Yeah, and you like usual per weekly basis. I feel like this 55-minute pit window is it's sneaky. You don't really know where you're at in the race until the last 2.5 minutes, and
Exactly.
uh, and who you're racing. But yeah,
It can be tough. Like, you really got to pay attention to who's around you on the track in the first, like, two laps.
yep.
Because, I don't know, I think five, eight, maybe 10 people jumped in our first lap on D2.
Uh,
And I immediately lost track of where my net position was.
there was quite a bit. I know there was a lot of people that had damage
Yeah.
as well. So
It's a blessing and a curse, this 55-minute window, so
it is. Yeah,
we shall see. There's been a lot of disgruntled fans, especially people who pushed for it, so interesting to see what happens.
we shall see.
We shall see.
But
Division Three's championship. Do we have any
you're
penalties?
ahead of me. None that affect us. Top three here, so we're all
Perfect.
good.
Perfect. I am ahead of you, but you're not awake.
I would say I'm awake.
You look like you're sleeping over there under that John Deere.
Dude, I'm trying to freaking breathe at the moment.
I bet.
Not working.
I bet. You got any of those essential oils?
No, but I got some nasal spray.
Hey, there you go. Give yourself a quick nose beer.
I would, but the issue is in about 5 minutes after I do it, I will be over there on the ground in a sneeze attack.
That sounds funny. I think we should get
It's
that on
not.
recording for the
No, we're not
podcast.
doing that. We're
Yeah, that
not
would be
doing
great
that.
content.
No, dude, we're not. Because I'll get clipped.
So Division Three's Drivers' Championship, Doug Mitchell still holding on to the lead with 372 points. Max Simmons in second place with 340, and Matt Anastasi in third with 296. Brian Ryder right on his tail in fourth with 294. And in the team standings, a bit of a gap forming between the top three. To the Moon has 635. Start Your
Oof,
Systems Prancing Horses has 523, and TSC Ferrari Meisterbahn has 463.
what a name.
I know, very interesting. But
Meisterplan.
Meisterbahn, we're going to do the double pit stop, Charles.
You're pitting for hats.
Why? No!
I think we should go softs. Copy.
We are pitting for Hads. I heard that after
What a
last race,
joke,
and I was
dude.
like, what is this team?
What a joke, dude.
We should
Never
go
seen
Hertz. No,
anybody
no, no.
throw
We need to
so
go
hard.
softs. Okay, copy.
Okay,
Alright, so are
copy.
we pitting? Yes. Box for
Box,
Hertz.
box. We are boxing for hats.
My lord. Trust your drivers for once, please. Why does it take
Never.
Carlos yelling at you for 10
No,
minutes?
no, no. Please, please, let me win. Please.
Please, stop your shit. Stop inventing.
Oh, fuck it. I might do it. I might do it.
Just might have to do it to him.
I'm talking about my nasal spray, brother.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm struggling right now. I'm like spacing out 'cause lack of oxygen.
We can do it. If you need to take a step away, you take a step away.
I'll go down here.
Okay. Division 2 qualifying saw Brandon Chan take pole position of 47.190. JD Daniel second place with a 47.335, and Ian Wheeler putting up an impressive 47.455 for Champion Motorsports. In the race, JD Daniel came home in first place, 2 seconds clear of Brandon Chan, and only 15 seconds clear of Michael Louis in third place. So compared to the other divisions, not as big of a clear cut between the leaders and the rest of the pack, but nice close finish between P1 and P2. And
For
an
the
I think that's the
first
first
time?
Aston Martin win of the season.
JD Daniel has won several times.
Ah, look at me not remembering how any of this works.
Uh, JD Daniel has 2 wins.
Look at that. Is that including this one?
Monza and Imola.
Yeah. Wow, the
The
Italian guy.
Italian Meister.
Look at that. I already forgot last week. Sounds
How
about
about that?
right.
It happens, dude. It happens.
But yeah, took a quick peek over at the penalties, and it doesn't seem like there's anything to affect the top three.
No, I don't see anything either.
Just thinking back over the qualifying podium, I know Ian had a bit of an issue at Ascari, and I think cost himself his chance at the podium. But again, that's just that part of the racetrack. If you're not on your game, it's gonna bite you.
Yeah, I almost feel like Ian has better luck starting from the back.
Sometimes, man, he did have that back to pretty damn good at Imola.
Yeah,
Back to I don't even remember. I'm not gonna try.
P9, I think.
Something like that. It was inside the top 10.
31 to 9, I think it was, because he finished right in front of me.
Nuts.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no penalties here that affect us, but
And in the Drivers' Championship side of things, JD Daniel does currently have the lead at 398. Herman Valencia in second place with 308, and Michael Louis in third with 294. The team standings are also still up for grabs. TSE Zoom Car Zoom in first with 624. TSE Vroomy McVroomface in second with 613. And Flat Earth Racing Team in third with 549. Ghost Rider Racing Bendy Brew in fourth with 540. Bailey doing everything he can to put the team on his back.
nah, dude, I'm getting hard carried by John Archie here at the moment.
John
Currently
Archie is
P4
having
in
a,
the standings.
yeah, I was going to say P4 in the standings, having a very good season right now. And a pretty comfy gap to P5 behind him, 38
Yeah,
points. So,
yeah. So he's kind of carrying me, and I'm down here battling for P10.
gotta do what you
One
gotta do.
1 point ahead of Ian Wheeler and Al Latufo. So
I'm coming.
it's tight. It's tight, dude. I see you down there.
I'm
I mean, I
only
see you.
I'm only 54
It's
points behind you.
it's not out of the picture. I'll tell you that. Anything could happen, especially after this week. But yeah, dude, trying everything I can here to win something before my departure.
Division 2 this season's been really tough.
It's
You
been
you
tough, but
have
it's
to
been
be.
super fun.
Oh, completely agree. I feel like it's been less sweaty and more just drive
Yeah,
and stay on the game and
exactly.
prove you can race. Not prove you're
Yeah,
necessarily like everybody's as fast as D1 Gold, but here's your here's your division. No, know your limits, play within them, so to speak.
I agree, and just the wheel to wheel racing, I feel like has been so clean this season.
Exactly.
I mean, we've talked about it in the past before, but um, I know I've said it several times, but this season has been by far, I think, the most fun to race in.
I agree. I agree.
For
Other than like the very first season when there was 30 of us here or something like that, that was kind of fun too. But
yeah,
yeah, this has been probably one of the most competitively fun seasons I've been a part of in a while.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like I'm always racing you for some reason, as you
Yeah.
see here in the stream background.
Yeah, it's been kind of great. We made the idea to go, let's use a snippet from every race week for the
Yeah,
event, and then every week we found a way to battle each other. So
somehow,
somehow,
somehow.
some way. And
Yeah,
every time it always ends in an accident. We came up to that turn 4, turn 5 chicane, and you were, I think, checking up for some cars in front of you that were battling 2 by 2.
yeah,
And
it was you.
no, I was behind you
Oh, in the beginning,
in
yes,
the
in the
beginning,
beginning.
yes. And I went to do a little switchback on you, but you had more grip than I assumed turning right, and I almost fish hooked you right into the wall.
Yeah,
But
I
then
caught it.
yeah, you caught it, and then you just like chilled on the right hand side of the racetrack and didn't give me anywhere to come back. I thought we were gonna create a bigger issue.
Well, I couldn't go anywhere. There's two cars in front of me that were going so slow.
Yeah, I know you had like 4 feet to the right though, or to the left though.
4 feet's not a lot.
That's enough for the rest of my car to fit. It's okay. That's all the fun though. I mean, that's
You're
that
trying to
area
blame it on
racetrack.
me? Is that what
Yes,
you're trying to do?
I'm
Is that you're
totally
trying
trying
to
to blame it on you.
blame it on me for not lifting to slow cars ahead?
No,
SMH,
slow
SMH, bro.
slow cars beside. Adapt for skill issue.
You hit my bumper.
I know. I kissed your bum. Sorry.
9 second kiss is what it was, dude. I fixed that bitch and I came out behind everybody.
I got. Did you get smacked at turn 1?
I didn't have any damage until you rear-ended me.
Nice. I got a little.
So
I got a little ice cream sandwich at turn 1, as everyone came into the braking zone. All the cars
ice
seemed
cream sandwich.
all the cars seemed to stop, and everything seemed like it was going to be great. And you got your ice cream sandwich, and then you go to take a bite and actually move into the corner, and everybody stops again, and you get
Yeah.
brain freeze because you just rear end a car and then get hit in the back.
Well, and here's the funny thing that I literally just looked up and noticed is that um, we're just talking about how fun Division 2 racing has been and stuff, and uh, there was nobody reported anybody. It was all lap one auto tickets.
Wow.
So it just kind of goes to show the respect between people and that accidents do happen.
Yeah,
So
that's another thing that I've loved this season is there's been much more of a willingness to discuss an incident, and it's like,
yeah,
everybody's thinking about a million different things when they're driving down the racetrack, and everybody can only make the best decision that they can with the information that they got. And sometimes that decision that they make is wrong, but it's
yeah,
about learning from it and not just going like, we all got to point a finger at each other. There's definitely
yeah.
some incidents that deserve penalties, but it's nice that we don't have the big long paragraphs of, we're
That
getting
D1
penalties on
has.
Monday, we're getting penalties on Monday and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I mean, I'm just kind of looking through the past penalties as well. Our division specifically. There was a couple last week, but Watkins week 3, it was all auto tickets, so no reports there either. Um, the week before that, there was uh, one ticket and one auto ticket. So I mean, still, 3 of the 5 races, there's been one ticket reported.
Hell yeah. It's
So
definitely an indication of some clean racing.
yeah, clean and respect as well.
I agree.
Oh, it's kicking in. It's about to happen.
Let's hope the
Let's
quality
cook.
remains for the next three races.
Let's cook. Let's
As
cook. Let's cook.
as Bailey cooks over there on his big green tractor, we move on to Division
Take
1.
it for a ride. Sorry.
No, I had to let you have your moment there.
Could be here for a while if I did
We
that.
we definitely could. Matt Lehman takes pole position again with a 46.472. Eric Neville in second place with a 46.900, and Michael Menning in third with a 46.945. And that Division 1 quali looked like it could have gone any direction. I mean, Matt's time was clearly the fastest time, but everybody underneath that was all just nipping at each other's heels, and it's like, I don't know. they all find themselves into such a small gap. It's like, other than maybe the top two, it's always just like a shot in the dark, which I
Yeah,
think makes D1 qualifying really interesting to watch.
that's where the fun happens.
Exactly.
That in turn one.
Oh, for sure. And in the race, Matt did hold on to the lead, bringing home the win by 6 seconds to Michael Menning, and Jordan Nixon coming home in third in the Aston Martin, Eric Neville's teammate, although he did not manage to find himself up on the podium, only 3 seconds back from Menning. So all three of the leaders finished within 9 seconds of each other. It was it was kind of a bit of a DRS train for some of the race. There was a lot of bold maneuvers being made at interesting corners, but for the most part, it was a lot of groups that just wanted to stick in behind each other and follow each other through the racetrack, wait for the right opportunity to make the move, and make it once.
Yeah, I felt that was I didn't watch anything this week. But I know uh the slipstream was definitely a major game changer, and I'm sure that that was how these D1 guys, just looking at lap times, how these D1 guys were able to pass was just that stay in that slipstream for as long as you can, and either wait for the mistake or wait till you get close enough. So, oh, sorry,
You're all good.
it's happening.
And just looking at that race pace, D1 was almost half a second faster than D2. D2 about the same pace as D3. D3 a little bit faster than D4, but realistically, that big jump still sits up at the top two divisions.
Yeah,
And looking at the overall standings here, Division One's Drivers' Championship, Matt Lehman holding on to the lead for Champion Motorsports McLemmons, 402 in the driver standings. Jeremy Mercer in second with 368, and Michael Menning in third with 336. In the team standings, TSE Vroom Car Drive is off to a pretty astounding lead right now, and their situation of might be able to start calling it early. 815 points to Champion Motorsports McLemmons 651, and TSE Drive Car Vroom in third place with 604. So starting to narrow up, but it's TSE's Vroom Car Drive, powered by Peter O'Brien and Jeremy Mercer, is a very tough team to beat when you've got two drivers in the top five of the driver
yeah.
standings.
Well, and I was just kind of looking as well. There's five TSC drivers in the top seven of Division One.
Yeah, so definitely a very strong conglomerate of drivers. If you're looking for a new conglomerate next season, might have to take a look over there. But definitely some guys that are putting their fight in for that D1 championship.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was about to start going sneezing here, but might take any second. But
That's all good, man.
yeah, no, I think even D2 has some TSC guys at the top as well. I'm pretty sure JD Daniels a TSC driver. Um, yeah, he is. He is. Herman Valencia is a TSC driver. So these TSC guys, Sergio Torres and P5. So TSC guys are definitely some divisional winners. It sounds like.
Most definitely. And as we wrap up all of that fun, let's look at what a wet mess we have to deal with next week. Donington Park, 4 kilometers, 12 corners. Um, I'll be honest, my favorite of the British tracks in the dry, like of the three like smaller British tracks. Um, but in the wet, I still haven't done any laps. I know you said you've done some yourself. Uh,
Yeah, I just
quick
did about an
synopsis.
hour ago. Um, Not bad. Oh boy. Shoot, what was our first wet race?
Walk-ins.
Walk-ins. We did mention that breaking points were about the same that we felt a lot in wet compared to dry there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that as well here.
Interesting.
Um,
I wonder if that's going to become a trend for wet
yeah, the
driving.
only difference is that the curbs are just atrocious. Exit curbs, braking curbs. Um, you can kind of glide over the apex curbs, but the other ones are pretty brutal. I've noticed we talked about it before. the track here at turn 4, I believe it is. Yeah, what is considered the old hairpin. Sorry. Uh, the braking curve on the left is what gets me, and then the what is the other one? The braking curve on turn 9, the S's
Hmm.
on the right hand side is also what I get just because of um I've done a lot of laps in Donington, and it's kind of just habit,
Yeah, you got a
to
little
do it.
bit of that bad muscle memory, so to speak.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and I'm sure there's probably other people with that, and it's just kind of teaching yourself from it, because, like you said, Donington is a very popular track, that is part of those British tracks with, uh, wow, Donington. You got Silver, not
Snetterton,
Snetterton, and
Olton.
Olton. Yeah, Olton as well. I don't like these, but I feel like Donington's not as intense as the others. Still allows for I feel like some great racing. Super small track, quick laps. We're doing for 34, 37s, I think is the range I'm seeing so far. Um, so I mean, still in the wet, minute and a half laps is pretty quick.
I was gonna say, is that wet times or is that dry
No,
times? Like that
dry
seems
times is about 120, 125. I mean, sorry.
hot lap speed.
So yeah, so to be only about 10 to 13 seconds slower in the wet, it's not, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Looking at Division 2 right now, just taking a gander at the leaderboard, we've got a fastest of a 27.0 and a slowest of a 39.1. So,
Yeah. It's
r-
going to be tough to depict that from the leaderboard, just due to the fact that you could get a drier session or a wetter session when you go to practice, but
exactly. I was gonna say we all kind of null and void the leaderboards when it comes to a wet race because it's so
yeah.
varying, but still knowing like that overall window
Hmm.
of pace, because it's like if that's the dry session to wet session pace, that's 18 seconds different in lap time.
Yeah.
That means you really need to prepare a second setup,
Yep. Or I mean,
or at
uh
least prepare some dry driving.
John and I have 3 wet ones. One, two, yeah, 3 wet ones and 1 dry one.
Wow,
So,
ready to
um,
rock.
yeah, you just never know. Your real comparison this week is going to be in the practice sessions. If you get somebody in your division, or you just kind of base it off of like people ahead of you, people behind you in divisions. So, leaderboards are kind of nullified, like you said this week. The real depiction of where you'll be is in that practice session, or Monday night's practice race, or Tuesday, Wednesday when we get to the actual races. So all that practice is what's going to come down to um, those days. So
Let's also
uh,
not forget the wonderful weekend sprints, which I believe
mhm.
should still
Cannot
be
forget.
set up to
Sorry, Martin. Forgive
mimic
me.
mimic the upcoming GT3 race. Just gonna take a little peek here and make sure. Uh, Saturday is going to be some dry Silverstone, and Sunday is going to be some wet Donington. So there is going to be some opportunity for some extra practice. The middle session, the 9 o'clock as usual, is going to be free for all. So if you feel like practicing the wet in something other than a GT3 car, you can also do that. But I mean, for me, it's a why would you bother?
Hmm.
You just work
I'm
on
with
what you
you.
need to master for the week.
Exactly. I think, like you said, I think 2 setups, like a backup setup as well. One medium wet, one heavy wet. Not a bad idea. So
Hmm.
um, getting some practice in as well with spray is good as well, because it is intense. No matter the
Definitely.
track, no matter the condition, spray is no joke.
Oh yeah, cannot disagree with you there. Now, one thing I'm curious on because I haven't done much setup tweaking, and I can't really get a hang for it in these mid-engine cars.
Hmm.
Um, with the front engine cars, I was able to use a lot of the time dry setups
Yeah.
with wet tires and a couple slight modifications. Is that still working with 1.9, or do you not operate that way?
Yes. No, um matter of fact, it's funny that you actually mentioned that. Ghost setups usually have a wet setup. Shout out Ghost Setups, sponsor,
Yep.
affiliate, sorry. Whatever, one of the two. I'm not really sure anymore, but um they do come with wet setups. They are a little different, but the way We've been doing setups here with the Merc. We just got the early release setup, so we're actually finally benefiting. But they don't give us any wet setups. What we've done in the past was we'll take a dry setup and we'll just kind of add some traction control, put on some wet tires, add some PSI, and then just kind of adjust the roll of the car, the way the tires are leaning. So it's just little adjustments. It's really not that bad. We found it to be super stable, um, but it just eats the tires. So I'm sure a more wet setup is the more hour-long viable option or suggestion, shall I say? But the dry setup converted to a wet with little adjustments is not off the table.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
So, yeah, and I've gotten myself into a little bit of um, setup adjustments slash making setups myself, just due to the fact last season I was in the Porsche that I absolutely despised and had to change it so I could drive it, and then the Merc having no setups at all from anybody, Hymo, Go. CDA came out, but CDA was is I can't use CDA setup, so just kind of had to spend some extra time this season, a little more extra practice, but I think it's been well worth it. It's been super fun. I don't regret the Merc, and I think it's a better car than what it used to be,
Hell yeah, it definitely looks to be more competitive this season, so it's always good to see.
for sure. But yeah, that to answer your question, I will say that dry setups converted to wet is a very good choice.
I'm sure the others who are going through the same problems that you've had are definitely going to enjoy hearing that.
Hmm.
And
But yeah,
if you thought that was all the fun, that's not. Let's take a
no.
look ahead at our mini event mimicking today's real life race, the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Just trying to pull up the event announcement here. Do 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 do. Perfect. We're excited to announce our next official SRA Assetto Corsa event. Without further ado, on Saturday, June 17th, SRA will be hosting our very own 2.4 hours of Le Mans. This will be a multi-class and optional driver swap event with an LMP1 class, LMP2 class, and a Trans Am class. While we encourage drivers to enter individually to create a larger grid, we understand that 2.4 hours is a long race, so we'll be allowing optional driver swaps for teams of up to 2 drivers. Please reach out to Kevin in the Assetto Corsa channel if you need any further details on how to do that, as I know some people don't do driver swaps in AC all the time. But a very cool addition to this event, we're running the LMP1, the VRC T50, and the Vendetta V60, the URD Lorry that we all know well for the LMP2 class, and then the Chevrolet and the VRC Mare, which I'm not too sure which one that is for the Trans Am class. But 10, 10 lap pre-quali prior to the event is required, 20 minutes qualifying before the race, and a 144-minute race. That includes the extra time to do our little bit of a fake parade lap rolling start to get ourselves signed up.
Hey, it's not fake, it's real.
Hey, yeah, I mean, it is as real as the real stuff. I mean,
Well,
contact is on,
yeah,
and like, if you make a mistake, you're done.
exactly. Well, I wouldn't say done.
You might be done.
Depends on the mistake.
That is true.
Uh, what I don't see is damage. I think damage will be off.
That is great to hear. I know we've done that for a few other events as well, and just makes for a more enjoyable race when we're just
Yeah.
trying to do this for fun, not for any
Hmm.
seriousness.
You're telling me you haven't paid $50 to compete?
No,
I'll be DMing Kevin.
they're probably taking it out of my 11 months of subscription to the Discord,
Probably.
so that's okay. I got fundage in the bank.
Hopefully, my name gets pulled for the cruise this season.
Well, Tyler was out here spending that cruise money on going to a Panthers game for the Stanley Cup Finals, so I think we're
That's
gonna have to put a
unlucky.
pause on the cruise list. Hey,
I think
they won that
his
game, so
oh,
yeah,
decent, decent, decent.
good seats too, good seats. Four rows from 4 rows from the net, right in camera range.
Which net?
That's a great question.
Oh, okay.
The one that you shoot the puck at. I don't remember whose team it was. The
Um, just going on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Um, I saw this on Twitter. Just staying on the Le Mans uh, topic. There was three options I saw. It was, would you rather win the Monaco GP, Indy 500, or the 24 Hours of Le Mans? Which one would you choose if you could pick one to win?
Oh, for me, it would have to be Le Mans. Ever
Yeah.
since I was a kid, the one thing that I've always loved about racing games is endurance racing. I remember sitting there and doing the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours on the PlayStation, Gran Turismos and stuff, and then
Mhm.
just moving up to the sim rig, and it's just a different challenge. Open wheelers are it's different, and Monaco's got its own prestige, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
Indy 500 would be an absolute treat, but to me, it's Le Mans. What about yourself?
Um, I would have to probably go Monaco personally.
Really?
Yes. So when I started sim racing, shoot, this had to have been, what year is it? 23 through 4 years ago now, I guess. Um, the F1 games was all I played. Put in hours of practice at Monaco just to get better with throttle control, amount of turn in, slide, stuff like that. So I've put a lot of time into Monaco. I love when the Monaco GP rolls around every year for Formula One. It's just I feel like it's the prestige of Formula One. I mean it doesn't really matter. I feel like the car. I just feel like it depends on qualifying, but still, I think to win that is equally as impressive as for how difficult the track is. It's got such small margin of error. Um, these Formula One cars are so fast. They're so big now compared to what they used to. I don't know if you ever see that clip of I think it was Nigel Mansell and I think it was Ayrton going side by side for half a lap at Monaco. Um, it's impossible to do that in today's cars.
Oh
So,
yeah.
just the way that Formula One has changed over the years. Example A, that being that example. Um,
Yeah, I
I don't
guess
know.
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think it's all perspective. I think it's all personal, ex- um, not experience, personal.
Desires.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was looking for. And just kind of what you look for. I think Indy 500 is like super cool. It's probably the biggest IndyCar event of the year
I'd say so.
potentially. But I feel like that car or that race is a lot of luck, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, you really got to pick that overtake for the lead at the right time. Can you
Yeah,
defend? Are you going to get caught up in chaos?
exactly. But just kind of going those two. Those two are definitely strategy heavy races. Um, Monaco, especially, and I'm a big fan of strategy. So to have that one race a year that could come down to that: do you pit this lap? Do you pit the next lap? Do you pit for softs? Do you pit for mediums? So
Mm-hmm.
um, it's just kind of a combination of things. And my personal or my past experience with sim racing and how I got to be where I am. You had said about endurance racing and how you've done a lot of that for a long time. I didn't actually do any endurance racing until last year at the 8 hour or 9 hours of Indy. So that was the first, I think, real endurance race I've done. So I haven't really gotten into this multi or the um,
Multi-class, long
WEC,
distance.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, stuff like that.
yeah.
So
It's
it's
definitely a different breed too.
100%, and
Yeah.
there's just so much going on.
Who knows? I think we're all pushing for SRA to one day do a Nurburg, so
Ooh,
that'll be a fun one to participate in.
that's a long one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
I think that may actually get a massive turnout.
I think so too. And I was kind of looking at the registration for this 2.4 hours of Le Mans.
Yep.
Not a lot of people yet. We do have 9 people registered at the moment, but um, as we do tick over, it is a week from today as we are recording this now. So I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of people in this week. So I unfortunately can't make it. Like I said last week, I'll be in another state for a wedding. So
It is a dang shame, but
I know, dude, and this was the one I was looking forward to all season, and then they canceled the season. Oh shucks, and they brought it back, and it was the day I'm gonna be gone. I was super upset. So,
well,
yep.
As much as we have many powers with adjusting schedules and stuff, I don't think we can move the race.
Maybe I'll put in a ticket and report Kevin.
Yeah, admin ticket. Put in a race event that you want to attend on a weekend. You can't be here. How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you, Kevin? You can't beat me, so you have to put it on a weekend I can't be here.
I like
Damn you, Kevin. Damn you.
I like the cut of your jib. Oh man, that'd be an interesting ploy to get himself some points in that championship. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, no, it's a shame. But I'm gonna try and participate. There's some local racing events that are going on. Vintage Grand Prix going on that weekend. So
Hmm.
hopefully I can be back in time for the race. But if not,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
Just run it back the next weekend or something.
Exactly. Do it again in
Yeah,
Miatas. You might get more people.
maybe. I'd rather do these than Miatas though.
2.4 hours of Le Mans
Could you
in
imagine
Miatas.
doing
That'd be
a
hilarious.
lap at Le Mans in Miatas?
We gotta
Could
get
you
like,
imagine what the lap time would be?
oh man, that'd probably be like 5 minutes.
That's what I was thinking.
Nürburgring in Miatas. 2 laps.
Oh,
That's it.
driver change at the end of your lap.
Yeah. 1 lap per driver.
Yeah. 6 hours of Nürburgring in Miatas.
But it's just 3.5 laps. Nah, that's like going back to the old Gran Turismo days. You go get the Subaru, or I think it's called like the Subaru 125. Thing had like fucking 6.5 horsepower.
Jesus, it's like a shopping cart.
Oh my god, yeah. There was this one racetrack in, I think it was Gran Turismo 3. It was like Seattle or something. You had to go up like this big fucking massive incline in the city. And I
Hmm.
remember my buddy would come up behind me in a C7 race car and he would just rear
Jesus,
end me as hard as I could. And we could never get it to go all the way up to the top because it was never good enough under its own power. But
it's funny.
that would be funny to see make a lap around the Nürburgring. Some guy
Yeah.
did it in a Ford Model A
Oh
on
my
YouTube. It's
gosh.
like a 4 hour video or something.
Oh, in one lap. It's a hot lap.
Yeah, it's a hot lap video, bro. Check out his
Oh my
lines. He's
god.
got the setup in the description.
Oh, that's funny.
But the glory. Oops, misclick.
Uh-oh. Misclick.
The glories of sim racing and what it can allow us to do in our free times. Because I
I
mean,
misclicked as well.
I'd love to go drive the Nürburgring, but I don't think I got the money to get out there and then rent the car and deal with what I'm gonna do to that track.
Well,
Because I'll probably crash.
lucky for you, Bendy Brew Race. I'm kidding. We don't have the funds for that.
DTM
We don't
team,
have the facilities for that, big man.
Bendy Brew
DTM?
DTM.
DTM? Bro, we're going hypercar.
Shit, straight to Le Mans.
Straight to Lemon. Lemon.
Straight to Le Moon.
Lemon.
But I think that covers all of our action from this week, really. The
I believe so.
24 hours, like I said, still going on. We're probably at like the 15-hour mark, 16-hour mark now, something like
Hmm.
that. So I'm definitely going to go hop off and watch some of that. I don't know about yourself, but from
Um, not sure either. We'll figure it out though.
we shall figure it out. But from myself, from Bailey, and from the team, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.